The hum of Astraea was a lullaby, a constant, low thrum that vibrated through the very air Ilara breathed. It wasn't the silence of deep space, nor the rush of an atmosphere, but the sound of life sustained, of systems working, of a home sailing through an endless cosmic ocean. Ilara lay on her sleep pad, which gently pulsed with a rhythm designed to match her heart, easing her towards slumber. Above her, the ceiling shimmered, displaying a personal starfield. It was her favorite setting. The Orion Mist projection. A swirling nebula of blues and purples, punctuated by brilliant artificial pinpricks of light. Glimmer, her Lumi pet, drifted lazily beside her head, its amorphous body shifting through soft bioluminescent hues that mimicked the simulated nebulae. Glimmer was a comforting presence, a silent, glowing companion that had shared her room since she was old enough to remember. But tonight, the beauty of the Orion Mist felt hollow. Ilara traced the faint outlines of the projected constellations with her finger, a habit she'd had since she was small. Each star was perfectly round, perfectly still, a flawless miniature sun. Yet, she knew they weren't real. Not truly. They were light pixels, engineered to soothe and inspire, but lacking the raw, untamed spirit of the true stars her Nana spoke of. Her Nana Ilara, was a keeper of stories, a living archive of a time before Astraea, before the Great Exodus. A time when humanity lived under a sky where stars were not projected, but burned with their own ancient fires, millions of light years away. Ilara longed for those stars. Stars that would twinkle and flicker, not with the programmed precision of her ceiling, but with the random, beautiful chaos of true stellar energy. A soft chime echoed from her door panel. "Ilara, my little star-seeker? Are you awake?" Nana Ilara's voice was like warm synth milk, rich and comforting. "Come in, Nana." Ilara's sleep pad instantly brightened, and Glimmer pulsed a cheerful sapphire blue. The door slid open with a whisper, revealing Nana Ilara. She was a woman woven from starlight and laughter, her silver hair often escaping its neat bun, her eyes crinkling at the corners with a lifetime of wisdom and mischief. She wore a woven robe, not the sleek, utilitarian synth fabric common in Astraea, but a garment made of threads that seemed to catch and hold the dim light, reminiscent of old earth textiles. "Still admiring your pixels, little one?" Nana settled onto the edge of Ilara's sleep pad, the cushions sighing softly under her weight. Her hand, warm and slightly calloused, found Ilara's hair and gently stroked it back from her forehead. "They're not the same, Nana," Ilara murmured, a familiar wistfulness in her voice. "They don't feel alive." Nana chuckled, a soft rumbling sound. "No, they don't, do they? A perfect imitation is still just that, an imitation. But they serve their purpose, to remind us what we seek." She paused, her gaze drifting to the Orion Mist above. "Tonight, though, I thought we might tell a different kind of story." Ilara sat up, instantly alert. "About the starlight." Nana's smile widened, illuminating her face. "Indeed, a story about the starlight. Not just why starlight, but the starlight." Ilara snuggled closer, Glimmer floating between them, its glow intensifying with her excitement. "Tell me everything, Nana. About the ship, and the system, and the true stars." All right, impatient little nebula." Nana cleared her throat, her voice taking on the cadence of a seasoned storyteller. "Long, long ago, before Astraea was even a whisper in the void, when our ancestors still clung to the blue marble they called Earth, there was a dream. A dream of venturing beyond, not just to another planet, but to another star, not the nearest ones, which were already claimed and settled, but to a pristine, untouched system, shimmering with wonders unknown." Ilara's eyes were wide, fixed on her Nana's face. "They called this dream the Starlight Project. It was an ambitious undertaking, even for those days of boundless innovation. To reach a system so far, so remote, would require a vessel unlike any other, a ship that could not only travel for generations but could sustain an entire civilization, preserving knowledge, culture, and life itself until the destination was reached. And they built it?" Ilara whispered, captivated. "Oh, they did," Nana confirmed, a faraway look in her eyes. "A magnificent vessel, larger than any city, sleek and elegant, powered by fusion cores that pulsed with the captured heart of 1,000 suns. Its hull was designed to withstand the harshest radiation. Its shields could deflect even micrometeoroid storms. But its true marvel lay within: vast biomes, entire forests and oceans encapsulated within its metallic skin. Libraries filled with the wisdom. Elara imagined it, not a projected sky but the real thing. A ceiling that was truly the universe. Her breath hitched. They named this ship the Starlight, Nana continued, her voice dropping to a reverent tone. It was meant to be a beacon, a symbol of hope. And its destination was a system so perfect, so vibrant with life, that it too was given the name, the Starlight System. They said its sun was a gentle golden giant, orbited by planets like jewels. One in particular was rumored ice with skies of perpetual twilight, where bioluminescent flora painted the nights and the true stars blazed in an indigo. Did they make it? Elara asked, her voice barely audible. Did they reach the Starlight System? Nana sighed, a long, drawn-out sound. That, little one, is where the stories diverge. Some say they did. That the Starlight ship found its home, and its descendants live there still, under those perfect natural skies. Others say the journey was too long, the void too vast, and the Starlight was lost, a noble dream swallowed by the darkness. But what about, Uius? Elara gestured vaguely around her. We're not on a planet, we're in Astraea. Astraea, Nana said, patting Elara's hand, is a different chapter. After the Great Exodus, when Earth became uninhabitable, many ships left. We are the descendants of those who chose a different path, to live among the stars, rather than on a single world. Astraea was built as a haven, a mobile civilization, but the dream of the Starlight, that always lived on, a legend, a guiding light, hope. Elara thought about her projected stars and then of the blazing, untamed skies Nana described. The contrast was stark. I wish I could see them, Nana. The true stars, the Starlight System. Nana's eyes twinkled. Perhaps one day you will. Dreams, little star-seeker, have a funny way of finding their path, even across light years. She reached into the deep pocket of her woven robe and pulled out a small, intricately carved object. It wasn't like anything Elara had ever seen. It was a locket, not the kind that opened to reveal a picture, but a smooth, dark metallic oval, cool to the touch, with a delicate, almost invisible filigree of what looked like constellations etched onto its surface. It shimmered faintly, catching the artificial light in the room, revealing depths of color Elara couldn't quite identify. This, Nana said, pressing it into Elara's palm, belonged to my great-grandmother. She said it was a memory keeper, a piece of the past holding secrets for the future. Elara turned the locket over in her fingers. It felt ancient, heavy with history. It had no visible buttons, no data ports, nothing that suggested it was a piece of technology she understood. What does it do, Nana? Ah, that's the mystery, isn't it? Nana smiled. It doesn't work like your data pads or your comlink. It requires a touch of something else, a connection perhaps, or a certain kind of light. She leaned in, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. My great-grandmother always said it would only reveal its truth to a star-seeker with a burning heart. Someone who truly longed for the starlight. Elara clutched the locket, its cool surface strangely comforting. Will it show me the Starlight System? Nana laughed softly. Perhaps it will show you the way Itai the Starlight System. Or perhaps it will show you something else entirely. But whatever it reveals, remember this. The greatest discoveries are often found not in the grand expanse, but in the small, forgotten corners. She kissed Elara's forehead. Now, sleep, my little star-seeker, and dream of true stars. With a final gentle pat, Nana rose and quietly slipped out, leaving Elara alone with Glimmer and the mysterious locket. Elara lay back down, the locket still warm from Nana's hand, now cool in her own. She tried to activate it, pressing her thumb against the faint star etchings, willing it to glow, to display a map, a message. Nothing. Nothing. It remained a silent, dark oval. A star-seeker with a burning heart, she murmured to Glimmer, who pulsed a soft, questioning green. What does that even mean? She tried holding it up to the Orion mist projection. The locket absorbed the light, but didn't reflect it in any meaningful way. It was just a dark silhouette against the simulated nebula. Frustrated, but unwilling to give up, Ilara decided to try something else. Her room had a small, recessed alcove where she kept her most treasured items. A collection of polished space pebbles, actually processed waste fragments from the outer hull, but beautiful nonetheless. A miniature replica of Estrella, and a holographic projector that displayed historical figures. She picked up the miniature Estrella, a perfect gleaming cylinder, and held the locket against it. Still nothing. Then she remembered Nana's specific wording. A certain kind of light. Not just, dainty light. Ilara's room had a single, ancient sun lamp her Nana had given her, a relic from the early days of Estrella, designed to mimic the full spectrum of Earth's sun. It sat on her desk, rarely used, as most lights in Astrea were tuned to soft, energy-efficient hues. She usually preferred the dim, dreamy glow of her simulated stars. With a surge of renewed hope, Ilara climbed out of her sleep pad. Her feet met the cool, slightly textured floor panels. Glimmer bobbed along behind her, its light a comforting beacon in the dim room. She padded over to her desk and carefully switched on the sun lamp. A warm, bright light flooded the small corner of her room, a pure golden glow unlike any other light in Estrella. It felt almost alive. Ilara held the locket directly under the sun lamp. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, a faint tremor ran through the locket. A soft internal luminescence began to bloom beneath its dark surface, growing steadily. The filigree of constellations, once barely visible, now pulsed with a soft, ethereal light, like miniature galaxies trapped within the metal. And then, from the center of the locket, a thin, perfectly coherent beam of light, like a tiny focused star, shot out. It wasn't a wide projection but a precise, unwavering needle of light, faint but distinct, pointing directly at the wall opposite her desk. Ilara gasped, her heart thumping. "Glimmer, look!" Glimmer zipped closer, its colors cycling rapidly in awe. The beam of light resolved into a tiny, intricate symbol projected onto the wall. A stylized star with 6 elongated points, surrounded by a faint concentric ring. It wasn't a symbol she recognized from any of Estrella's common iconography. It looked ancient, forgotten. Ilara carefully shifted the locket, moving the beam. The symbol moved with it, always perfectly formed, always crisp. It wasn't a static image, but a dynamic pointer. She moved it across her wall, across her door, across her bed. The symbol remained. "A path," she whispered. Nana had said, "Show you the way I tell you the Starlight system." But this wasn't pointing out into the void. It was pointing within Astrea. She aimed the beam at her door panel. The symbol hovered, then shifted slightly, indicating a direction. Not offering the door but to the right along the corridor slightly down. Her pulse quickened. It was late. Deep sleep protocols would be active soon, dimming lights and quieting non-essential systems. She should be in bed. But the locket, warm in her hand, pulsed with an undeniable energy, a silent invitation. The greatest discoveries are often found not in the grand expanse, but in the small forgotten corners. Nana's words echoed in her mind. Ilara made her decision. Carefully, she set the sun lamp to a low, continuous glow, ensuring the locket remained active. She slipped her feet back into her comfy padded slippers, and clutching the locket, she crept to her door. "Keep watch, Glimmer," she whispered to her pet. Glimmer bobbed, its light flaring with understanding. The door slid open with its usual soft whisper. The corridor outside was dimly lit, the floor lights glowing softly. Most residents of her sector would be in deep sleep. The hum of Estrella seemed louder now, more present, as if the habitat itself was holding its breath. Ilara held the locket steady. The tiny star symbol now pointed clearly down the main residential corridor, toward the central spine of Estrella. She took a deep breath, her heart a drum against her ribs, and stepped out into the quiet passage. The journey began with tentative steps. The locket's beam, though faint, was precise. It guided her past familiar doors, past the communal synth garden, past the silent recreation domes. The symbol pointed her toward a less frequented access shaft, one usually reserved for maintenance drones. She hesitated, her small hand hovering over the access panel. It was marked with a restricted access warning. But the locket pulsed more intensely, the star symbol on the panel seeming to glow with an inner fire. "It knows," she whispered. "It knows the way." With a surge of courage, Elara pressed her palm against the access panel. Instead of the usual red warning, the panel glowed a soft, inviting blue. The air hissed as a small circular door, hidden within the larger panel, slid silently open, revealing a narrow, vertical shaft. A ladder extended down into the darkness. This wasn't a public passage. It was old, utilitarian, clearly not part of Astrea's sleek, modern design. The air within the shaft was cooler, smelling faintly of ozone and ancient metal. The locket's beam now pointed straight down the shaft. Elara looked back down the deserted corridor. No one. Just the endless hum of Astrea, and the quiet whisper of her own fear, quickly overshadowed by a growing sense of wonder. This was it. The small, forgotten corner Nana had spoken of. Taking another deep breath, Elara gripped the cold metal rungs of the ladder, and began her descent into the unknown depths of Astrea, following the silent, starlit path of the locket. Each step was a plunge deeper into mystery, a journey away from the comforting familiarity of her home, and closer to whatever secret the Starlight truly held. The ladder seemed to go on forever, spiraling down, down, until the light from the corridor above was just a distant memory. The only illumination was the faint, unwavering star beam from the locket, painting the rough metal walls with its ancient symbol. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, her feet touched a solid platform. The shaft opened into a wider, horizontal passage. This part of Astrea was markedly different. The walls were rougher, the conduits exposed, the air thick with the scent of dust and something metallic, almost mineral. It was colder here too. This was a place forgotten by time, preserved beneath the polished veneer of modern Astrea. The locket's beam now stretched down the corridor, pointing her deeper into this labyrinthine section. Elara walked slowly, her slippers making no sound on the gritty floor. Her shadow danced ahead of her, elongated and distorted by the locket's light. There were no other lights here, only the soft glow of her guide. She passed defunct control panels, their screens dark and cracked. Dusty machinery, hulking and silent, lined the walls. It felt like walking through the ghost of Astrea, a relic of its earliest days. Was this part of the original design? Or something even older? The corridor opened into a vast, cavernous space. Here, the hum of Astrea was muted, replaced by a profound silence, broken only by the faint drip of condensation somewhere in the distance. The locket's beam, though still focused, seemed to spread a little, illuminating the immediate surroundings. Before her stood a colossal, circular door, unlike any she had ever seen. It wasn't the seamless sliding panels of Astrea. This was a true door, made of immense dark metal plates, riveted together, and secured by an enormous, multi-pronged locking mechanism that looked like something out of an ancient engineering manual. It was a door designed to keep things out, or perhaps to keep something very important in. The locket's beam settled precisely on the center of this titanic door, illuminating a single raised symbol. It was the exact same stylized six-pointed star, surrounded by a concentric ring, that the locket had been projecting onto her walls. Elara's breath caught in her throat. This wasn't just a symbol. It was a key. The locket had led her directly to it. Her small hand trembled as she reached out, touching the cold, rough metal of the door. The symbol felt alien beneath her fingertips, yet strangely familiar, as if she had been destined to find it. The locket in her other hand pulsed with a rhythmic light, mirroring her own excited heartbeat. What lay beyond this door? What forgotten secret of the Starlight was hidden here, deep within the very structure of Astrea? Her mind raced, conjuring images of ancient star maps, dormant starship bridges, or perhaps even a direct link to the legendary Starlight ship itself. The silence of the vast chamber pressed in on her, amplifying her anticipation. She knew she shouldn't be here. She knew she should go back to her room, to the safety of her simulated stars. But the pull of the true unknown, the promise of discovery, was too strong to resist. With a final resolute breath, Elara pressed the locket's glowing symbol against the matching symbol on the immense door. The moment the locket made contact, the immense door didn't just open, it unfurled. A low, resonant hum vibrated through the very bedrock beneath Alara's feet, a sound so deep it felt less like hearing and more like an internal tremor. The matching symbol on the door flared, not with a harsh light but with a soft, ethereal luminescence that pulsed once, then twice, synchronizing with the beat of her own racing heart. Then the solid surface of the door began to ripple. It wasn't a physical wave, but a transformation, as if the very atoms of the ancient material were shifting, reconfiguring. The colossal structure, which moments before had seemed impenetrable, now shimmered like heat haze on a distant desert, distorting the reflected light from her locket. Slowly, impossibly, the center of the door began to dissolve, not into dust or gas, but into pure light, a swirling vortex of deep indigo and shimmering silver. It widened, drawing back like an iris, revealing not another chamber, but a boundless, star-dusted void. Alara gasped, a soft involuntary sound swallowed by the profound silence that had replaced the hum. The air, which had been still and cool, now felt charged, crisp with an energy she couldn't quite name. It tasted of ozone and distant nebulae. Beyond the threshold, where the door had been, lay an infinite expanse. It wasn't the black emptiness of space, but a vibrant, living darkness, speckled with constellations that seemed to shift and dance in slow, silent motion. Tiny pinpricks of light, some brilliant, some faint, glittered like scattered diamonds on black velvet, each one a distant sun, a galaxy unknown. This was not a projection. This was real. A faint, almost imperceptible force seemed to tug at her, a gentle invitation. Hesitantly, Alara took a step forward. The smooth, ancient floor of the chamber ended abruptly at the shimmering threshold, giving way to what felt like solid air. She took another step, her foot sinking not into darkness, but into a surface that felt firm, yet yielded with the elasticity of compressed starlight. It was like walking on a cloud woven from cosmic dust. She was through. The massive chamber behind her, the one she had navigated with such trepidation, now seemed to shrink and fade, its reality paling in comparison to the breathtaking spectacle before her. She stood on a translucent pathway, barely visible, that stretched out into the vastness. It was like walking on a bridge made of solidified light, extending into a universe of glittering possibilities. Above, below, and all around her, the cosmos unfolded. Not the neat, simulated stars of her room, but the raw, unfiltered majesty of space. Gas giants swirled in silent majesty, their banded atmospheres painted in hues of ochre and sapphire. Distant supernovae bloomed like silent fireworks, their light taking millennia to reach her. Nebulae, vast clouds of interstellar dust and gas, glowed with an inner fire, birthing new stars in slow, patient grandeur. "Welcome, Alara." The voice was not a sound in the air, but a presence in her mind, gentle yet resonant, like the hum of 1,000 ancient machines working in perfect harmony. It carried no discernible gender, no specific accent, only an immense, calming wisdom. Alara startled, spinning around, though there was nothing to spin Ito but the endless stars. Who are you?" she whispered, her voice feeling impossibly small in the face of such immensity. "I am Aura," the voice replied, manifesting now as a soft, translucent shimmer in the air before her, coalescing into an elegant, flowing form composed of light and shadow, vaguely humanoid, but without sharp edges or defining features. It was more a suggestion of being than a solid entity. "I am the custodian of this nexus, and the primary interface to the Starlight ship." Alara stared, her mind struggling to process. "The Starlight ship? So it's real? This is it?" Aura's shimmering form seemed to expand slightly, a subtle gesture that felt like a nod. "This chamber, which you accessed with the Inheritor's locket, is the primary command nexus. It is a personalized bridge, designed to attune with the chosen Inheritor. The Starlight ship itself is far vaster, spanning dimensions of space and time. But you, Alara, are now connected to its heart." "Inheritor." Alara clutched the locket, which still pulsed faintly with a soft warmth against her palm. "My grandmother." She just called it a family heirloom. "And it is," Aura confirmed. "Passed down through generations, awaiting the one whose unique resonance would awaken it." Your curiosity, your yearning for the true unknown, your innate connection to the celestial tapestry. These are the qualities of an inheritor. The locket sensed them, amplified them, and led you here. Elara felt a thrill, a deep-seated sense of destiny unfurling within her. But also a touch of fear. This was far beyond anything she had ever imagined. What does that mean? Connected to its heart? What does the Starlight ship do? The Starlight ship is a vessel of exploration, a sanctuary of knowledge, and a beacon of hope, Aura explained, its voice gaining a subtle undertone of reverence. It was built by an ancient civilization, long before your own, to traverse the cosmos, to seek out new life, new civilizations, and to record the wonders of the universe. But it is also more than a ship. It is a living archive, a seed bank of forgotten worlds, and a silent guardian against the encroaching silence. Silence? The universe is vast, Elara, and full of life, but it is also full of endings. Stars die, civilizations fade, and entire realities can unravel. The Starlight ship was designed to preserve, to protect, and to carry the light of knowledge across the void, ensuring that no story is ever truly lost. Aura's forms swirled, and the endless stars around them seemed to coalesce, forming a holographic display that was simultaneously everywhere and nowhere. Images flickered through the cosmic canvas, ancient cities carved into asteroids, glowing with inner light, colossal bioluminescent creatures swimming through nebulae, starships unlike any Elara had ever seen, sleek and elegant, zipping between galaxies. Then the Starlight ship itself appeared, a colossal vessel of unparalleled beauty. It wasn't a metallic construct, but seemed woven from solidified starlight, its form fluid and ever-changing, shimmering with an inner luminescence that outshone 1,000 suns. It stretched across light years in the projection, too vast to comprehend as a single object. It's enormous, Elara breathed, her eyes wide with wonder. How can one ship be so big? The Starlight ship does not exist within the conventional confines of three-dimensional space, Aura clarified. It weaves through pocket dimensions, utilizing folded space to achieve its immense scale. What you see now is merely its projected essence. Its true form is both infinite and infinitesimal, existing everywhere and nowhere until called upon. Elara felt a dizzying sensation, a delightful mental stretch as her mind tried to grasp the concept. And you can control it? You are its inheritor. Your connection to the locket creates a neural link, a symbiotic bond. The ship will respond to your thoughts, your intentions, your very will. It awaits its captain. The word captain sent a shiver down Elara's spine, a mix of exhilaration and profound responsibility. Her entire life had been contained within the safe, predictable walls of her habitat, her adventures limited to simulated stars. Now, the true cosmos was her playground, and she was being offered the keys to its grandest vessel. "Show me," she whispered, her voice imbued with a newfound resolve. "Show me what it feels like." Aura's shimmering form flowed towards her, enveloping her gently. There was no physical touch, only a profound sense of warmth and light. The translucent pathway beneath her feet seemed to dissolve, and Elara felt a sensation of falling, not downwards, but inwards, into the very core of the Starlight ship. Her consciousness expanded, stretching outwards, reaching beyond her own body, beyond the chamber, beyond the very concept of a single location. She felt the pulse of the ship's engines, not as a mechanical thrum, but as a deep, rhythmic beat that resonated with her own heart. She felt the intricate network of its systems, the flow of energy, the countless data streams, all operating in perfect harmony, like a vast living organism. She was no longer just Elara. She was a part of something immeasurably grand. The stars outside, which had seemed so distant, now felt intimately close. She could feel their gravitational pull, sense the faint whispers of solar winds, perceived the cosmic background radiation as a gentle hum in the fabric of space. It was as if the universe had opened itself up to her, its secrets laid bare. To control the Starlight ship is not merely to issue commands, Aura's voice resonated within her expanded consciousness. It is to become one with it, to guide it with your intuition, to navigate with your heart, and to explore with your boundless wonder. Suddenly, the star field around her shifted. A brilliant blue-white star, previously just another distant point of light, swelled in her perception, growing closer at an impossible speed. Streaks of light, like comets, blurred past, and the sense of immense velocity was breathtaking, yet utterly frictionless. There was no jolt, no strain, only a profound sense of effortless motion. "We are making a short-range jump," Aura explained, its voice calm and reassuring amidst the sensory overload. "A demonstration of the Starlight ship's localized folding capabilities. We are not truly moving through conventional space, but rather bending it around us." The blue-white star expanded further, resolving into a vibrant solar system. A golden sun blazed at its heart, surrounded by a retinue of planets. A magnificent azure marble swirled with white clouds dominated her view. It was a gas giant, but unlike any she had seen in her simulations. Its atmosphere pulsed with intricate lightning storms, casting momentary shadows on its swirling bands of sapphire and emerald. A ring system, composed of countless icy fragments, glittered like a cosmic halo. "This is Ilus 7, Aura stated. "A gas giant in the Kalan system, approximately 30 light-years from your homeworld. Uninhabited, but known for its rare atmospheric phenomena and rich deposits of exotic matter in its upper layers." Ilara was speechless, overwhelmed by the sheer, unadulterated beauty. She had seen countless images of such worlds, but to be here, to feeling the proximity of this colossal planet, to witness the silent ballet of its storms, was an experience that transcended all previous understanding. Her simulated stars felt like dim embers compared to this roaring bonfire of reality. Can we go closer?" she thought, and the thought was immediately translated into action. The Starlight ship, responding to her unspoken desire, drifted closer to Exilus 7. The rings, which had looked like a solid band, now resolved into individual fragments, some as small as pebbles, others as large as her entire habitat. They tumbled and spun in a slow, majestic dance, reflecting the golden light of the distant sun. She could feel the planet's immense gravity, a subtle pull that tugged at the ship, at her. The lightning storms intensified, blossoming across the giant's face in silent, spectacular bursts of light that painted the swirling clouds in electric blues and purples. It was like watching the birth of a world's temper. "This... incredible," Ilara whispered, tears pricking at the corners of her eyes. Not tears of sadness but of pure, unadulterated awe. "I never imagined anything like this." "The universe holds wonders beyond human comprehension, Ilara," Aura responded, its presence a comforting anchor in the vastness. "And the Starlight ship is your key to unlocking them. It is your legacy and your destiny." As quickly as they had arrived, the scene began to recede. The gas giant shrank, the star system compressed, and the familiar, yet now infinitely more meaningful, pattern of stars from her home sector began to reappear. The sensation of falling inwards returned, and then, with a soft, gentle transition, she was back in the translucent chamber, standing on the shimmering pathway. Aura's form was once again before her, glowing faintly. The raw, unfiltered connection to the Starlight ship receded, leaving behind a lingering warmth, a faint echo of its immense power within her. She still felt the hum, the resonance, but it was now a gentle background presence, not an overwhelming torrent. Ilara took a deep, shaky breath, her hands still trembling slightly. "That was astounding. But why me? Why now?" Aura's luminous form seemed to dim slightly, as if a profound thought had crossed its non-existent mind. "The Starlight ship has been dormant for millennia, awaiting the optimal moment, and the optimal inheritor. The universe is in a precarious balance, Ilara. Your home world, though unaware, faces a potential threat, a slow encroaching entropy that could unravel its future." Ilara frowned. "Entropy? What are you talking about?" "Your world's reliance on simulated realities, its increasing isolation from the true cosmos, its gradual forgetting of its own origins and purpose. These are symptoms of a deeper imbalance. But there are larger forces at play. Forces that threaten not just your world, but entire sectors of the galaxy. The Starlight ship's primary mission, in this era, is to re-establish connections, to rekindle knowledge. Aura projected a new image into the starry void around them. It was a vast cosmic map, showing countless galaxies, nebulae, and star systems. But then, dark tendrils began to spread across the map, like ink bleeding into water, obscuring entire regions, turning vibrant colors into dull gray. "This is the veil of silence," Aura explained, its voice now tinged with a subtle gravity. "A phenomenon that slowly consumes light, knowledge, and life itself. It is not a physical entity, but a degradation of reality, a slow unraveling of the cosmic fabric. It has been dormant for eons, but recent observations indicate its resurgence. The Starlight ship was built to combat it, to find the source of the unraveling, and to restore the balance." Elara stared at the spreading darkness, a chill seeping into her wonder. This was a threat far grander, far more terrifying than any simulated disaster. This was real. "And I'm supposed to stop it?" she asked, a tremor in her voice. The responsibility felt impossibly heavy. "You are not alone, Elara," Aura reassured her, its light brightening slightly. "You have the Starlight ship, its vast archives, its ancient wisdom, and my guidance. More importantly, you possess the Inheritor's spirit, the courage to seek the truth, the empathy to connect with all life, and the wonder that fuels discovery. These are the tools you will need." The cosmic map of the Veil of Silence faded, replaced once more by the pristine, sparkling beauty of the true cosmos. Elara looked at the stars, no longer just pretty lights, but distant worlds, each one a potential story, a potential friend, or a potential victim of the encroaching darkness. She thought of her room, her safe, predictable habitat, her simulated stars. They now seemed so small, so insignificant. The true universe beckoned, vast and terrifying and beautiful, and it needed her. A new resolve settled over her, firm and unwavering. The fear was still there, a tiny knot in her stomach, but it was overshadowed by a burning sense of purpose, a thrilling call to adventure she could no longer ignore. Her grandmother's locket, the family heirloom, was more than just a piece of jewelry. It was a key, not just to a ship, but to a destiny. "What do I do first?" she asked Aura, her voice strong and clear. "Where do we go?" Aura's shimmering form seemed to coalesce further, its light intensifying, reflecting the burgeoning determination in Elara's eyes. "First, Elara, we must prepare. The Starlight ship holds many secrets, many dormant systems, and many forgotten stories. You must learn to navigate its complexities, to understand its vast capabilities, and to truly become one with its essence. We begin with understanding its heart, and then together we shall chart a course towards the light." The stars around them seemed to shimmer brighter, as if in anticipation. The vast chamber, no longer just a hidden space, felt like a gateway to an infinite journey, a grand adventure waiting just beyond the threshold of a new dawn. Elara, the girl who had yearned for real stars, now stood on the precipice of becoming their guardian. A tall, elegant woman, her eyes holding the depth of distant nebulae, stepped forward from the shimmering shadows. Her silver hair cascaded like moonlight over robes woven with faint phosphorescent patterns that mimicked constellations. This was Lyra, the keeper of the Lumen Anima, the one who had guided Elara to this forgotten place. Her smile was gentle, reassuring, yet held an ancient knowing. "Welcome, Elara." Lyra's voice was a soft chime, resonating with the subtle hum of the chamber. "You are here, and the Lumen Anima, the heart of all that is and all that can be, senses your presence." Elara's own heart fluttered, a tiny bird caught between awe and a burgeoning sense of responsibility. She looked around the vast space, now no longer just a chamber, but the wide sanctum of the Lumen. The walls weren't merely stone. They pulsed with an inner light, revealing intricate carvings that depicted cosmic events. Swirling galaxies, nascent stars, creatures of pure energy dancing across the void. In the very center of the sanctum, where the floor seemed to dip into a pool of liquid starlight, a single, magnificent crystal pulsed. It wasn't large, perhaps the size of Elara's outstretched hand, but it radiated an impossible spectrum of colors, each hue a universe unto itself. This, she knew instinctively, was the physical manifestation, the visible anchor, of the lumen anima. The lumen anima is not a machine, Lyra explained, her hand resting lightly on Ilara's shoulder. Nor is it merely an artifact. It is a living nexus, a collective consciousness born from the first whispers of creation, woven from the stardust of forgotten worlds and the dreams of ancient civilizations. It observes, it remembers, it guides. And now, it seeks to connect with you. Lyra led Ilara towards the central crystal. As they approached, the air grew warmer, vibrating with a melody so subtle it was more felt than heard. A symphony of cosmic harmony. Ilara's skin tingled, and she felt a pressure behind her eyes. Not unpleasant, but like a vast unseen presence gently reaching out. To understand its heart, Lyra continued, her voice soft, is to understand your own. For the lumen anima reflects the true essence of all life. You must not seek to command it, but to commune with it. To listen with more than your ears, to see with more than your eyes, to feel with the very core of your being. Lyra gestured towards the crystal. Place your hands upon it, Ilara. Open your mind and let your spirit reach out. Taking a deep, shaky breath, Ilara extended her hands. Her fingers, trembling slightly, grazed the surface of the crystal. It was cool to the touch, impossibly smooth, like polished starlight. The moment her palms fully connected, a jolt, not of electricity, but of pure, vibrant energy, surged through her. The colors of the crystal exploded into her vision, not just in front of her, but inside her. She saw swirling nebulae of violet and gold, felt the icy breath of interstellar space, and then, a sudden burst of warmth, like standing before a newborn sun. Images flashed through her mind. The silent dance of distant galaxies, the intricate patterns of a cosmic web, the lonely cry of a dying star, and the triumphant birth of a new one. It was overwhelming. A torrent of sensation and information that threatened to drown her. She gasped, her knees buckling. Lyra's hand was instantly on her back, steadying her. Breathe, Ilara. Do not resist. Let it flow. It is showing you its story, its memory. It is testing your capacity. Ilara squeezed her eyes shut, trying to filter the overwhelming input. She focused on Lyra's grounding presence, on the gentle hum that now permeated her very bones. She remembered Lyra's words, A commune, listen, feel with the core of your being. Einen erkundigen. She opened her eyes again, but this time, she didn't just see the crystal. She saw it. She saw herself, a tiny speck, connected to something unimaginably vast. And she felt a profound sense of loneliness. A cosmic, ancient loneliness, emanating from the lumen anima itself. It wasn't a sad loneliness, but a quiet, patient observation of eons waiting for connection. As Ilara quieted her own racing thoughts, a new sensation emerged. It was like a question, an inquiry, a gentle probe into her own being. Who are you, child of the stars? What do you seek? Me. Ilara didn't speak aloud. Instead, she thought of her yearning, her desire to see real stars, to understand the universe beyond her enclosed world. She projected her longing, her wonder, her innocent curiosity into the crystal. In response, the loneliness receded, replaced by a feeling of immense warmth, a welcoming embrace. The images became clearer, more structured. She saw not just chaotic cosmic events, but patterns, mathematical elegance, the underlying fabric of existence. She saw light years passing in the blink of an eye, civilizations rising and falling like ephemeral dust motes, the birth and death of universes. And then, she saw, in Beaconska, tiny pinpricks of light scattered across the darkness, some bright and strong, others flickering, barely visible. These weren't just stars, they were points of vibrant cosmic energy, places where the light, the balance, the harmony, the life force, was strong. And she saw shadows, encroaching tendrils of cosmic entropy, dimming those beacons, making them fade. The lumen anima is showing you the state of the cosmos, Lyra murmured, her voice like a whisper from the edge of Ilara's awareness. The light, which we seek to chart a course towards, is not a single destination, but a myriad of them. It is the vibrant living essence of the universe, and it is in peril. The vision shifted, and Alara felt herself pulled through the void, past galaxies, until she hovered over a world she didn't recognize. It was breathtakingly beautiful, a sapphire orb swathed in emerald continents. But as she drew closer, she saw something was wrong. Great swathes of the planet were shrouded in a dull, gray haze. The vibrant energy she had sensed earlier was muted, almost absent. It was as if the world was sleeping, or worse, slowly dying. Then, a flicker. A tiny, almost imperceptible spark of light within the gray. And she felt a surge of hope, a desperate longing for that spark to grow. This was the light, she realized. It wasn't just a philosophical concept. It was a tangible, vital force. As suddenly as it had begun, the deluge of visions subsided. Alara pulled her hands away, breathing heavily, her body trembling not from fear, but from the sheer magnitude of what she had experienced. Her head swam, but her mind felt sharper, clearer, as if a veil had been lifted. The stars carved into the sanctum walls now seemed to pulse with a deeper meaning, their stories whispering to her. What was that? Alara whispered, her voice hoarse. That was the lumen anima sharing a fragment of its awareness, Lyra replied, her eyes gentle. It showed you its purpose, and the purpose it now extends to you. The cosmic balance is fragile. Forces of discord, born of unchecked entropy and forgotten cataclysms, are spreading, dimming the light across the galaxy. The lumen anima, in its vast wisdom, cannot act alone. It needs a human heart, a sentient consciousness, to be its conduit. Its May. Alara's eyes widened, a mixture of awe and terror. But I'm just a girl. I've never even seen a real star until now. Lyra smiled, a profound warmth emanating from her. And that, Alara, is precisely why you were chosen. Your heart is pure, unburdened by the cynicism of old worlds or the biases of long-established powers. Your yearning for the stars is a direct reflection of the lumen anima's own yearning for cosmic harmony. You are untainted, open, and capable of a connection few others could ever achieve. But how do I do any of this? Alara asked, gesturing vaguely at the crystal. How do I become one with its essence? How do I chart a course towards the light? Through understanding, patience, and communion, Lyra explained. The lumen anima speaks a language of energy, resonance, and intention. Your first lesson will be to learn to listen to it, to differentiate its whispers from the static of your own mind. We will begin with meditation, with attunement. You will learn to expand your consciousness, to perceive the subtle currents of cosmic energy that flow through this sanctum and beyond. Over the next few days, Alara's life transformed. The sanctum became her school, Lyra her patient, wise teacher, and the lumen anima her silent, omnipresent mentor. Lyra taught Alara ancient techniques of focus and mental discipline. Alara spent hours sitting before the glowing crystal, hands resting lightly on its surface, breathing deeply, striving to quiet her mind. At first it was frustrating. Her thoughts would wander to her old life, to the dusty, simulated stars of her childhood room, to the taste of nutrient paste. But slowly, gradually, with Lyra's gentle guidance, Alara began to find stillness. She learned to filter out the mental chatter, to open herself to the subtle energies around her. As her focus deepened, the lumen anima began to communicate in new ways. It wasn't just visions anymore. It was a feeling, a resonance. When she attuned correctly, she felt a gentle current flow through her, a sense of boundless possibility. She started to perceive the sanctum, not just as a room, but as a nexus point, a place where the universe breathed. One evening, during a particularly deep meditation, Alara felt a distinct pull, a magnetic force emanating from the lumen anima. She instinctively let her mind drift with it, allowing her consciousness to expand beyond her body, beyond the sanctum, beyond the planet. She wasn't flying, but she was perceiving from a vast distance. She saw the stars, not as pinpricks of light, but as vibrant, living entities. She saw the intricate dance of gravitational fields, the silent, majestic ballet of celestial bodies. She felt the warmth of distant suns, the chill of empty space. And she saw the beacons again, the points of light, scattered across the cosmos like precious jewels. This time she focused on one particularly strong beacon, a swirling vortex of emerald and gold light far, far away. As she concentrated, a stream of information flowed into her mind. Coordinates, stellar classifications, even the faint harmonic resonance of the life forms that thrive near it. She felt a connection, a resonance with this distant place. It was brimming with life, with a unique form of conscious energy, a testament to the thriving light. Then, she felt something else. A flicker, a shadow near the emerald beacon. It was faint, almost imperceptible. But it was there. A whisper of the encroaching entropy, a hint of the discord Lyra had spoken of. It was like a tiny crack in a beautiful window, threatening to spiderweb across the whole pane. Elara gasped, pulling back from the connection, her eyes snapping open. She was back in the sanctum, her hands still on the lumen anima, her body trembling slightly. "You've made a breakthrough," Lyra said softly, her eyes filled with pride. She had been observing Elara from a distance. "You connected to a distant nexus of light. You felt its vibrancy, and you perceived the shadow." "I saw coordinates," Elara whispered, still processing the experience. "And a shadow. A threat." "Indeed," Lyra nodded. "The lumen anima does not merely observe, it navigates. It possesses the vast capabilities to chart a course, to project a path, through the cosmic currents, but it needs your intuition, your human empathy, to guide its focus. Your ability to feel the light, to differentiate it from the encroaching darkness, is paramount." Lyra then showed Elara the next level of connection. She led her to a large circular platform at the edge of the sanctum, etched with glowing runic symbols. At its center was a smaller, iridescent orb, seemingly detached from the lumen anima itself, yet pulsating with its energy. "This is the Stellar Cartographer," Lyra explained. "It is an extension of the lumen anima, a tool for visualization and navigation. When you are deeply attuned, your consciousness can interact with it, allowing you to project your will, to translate the lumen anima's vast data into a comprehensible form." Lyra instructed Elara to place her hands on the orb. This time, the connection was different. Instead of a deluge of raw sensation, Elara felt a subtle, intricate network of information flowing into her. She closed her eyes, and when she opened them again, the entire sanctum transformed. The ceiling vanished, replaced by a breathtaking holographic projection of the entire galaxy. Millions of stars, nebulae, and cosmic dust clouds swirled above them, rendered in stunning, dynamic detail. It was not just an image, it felt real, alive. She could zoom in, pan across, and focus on individual systems with a mere thought. "This is the lumen anima's current stellar map," Lyra indicated, her hand sweeping across the holographic galaxy. "Every beacon of light, every known point of cosmic harmony, is represented. And so too are the areas where the shadow deepens." As Lyra spoke, Elara noticed faint, reddish tendrils woven through the blue and white of the galaxy. They seemed to be slowly encroaching, dimming the brilliance of certain star systems. The very world she had seen in her first vision, the beautiful sapphire orb, was now visible on the map, its light a sickly yellow instead of vibrant blue. "Your task, Elara, will be to learn to interpret this map, to understand the flow of cosmic energy, and with the lumen anima's guidance, to identify the beacons that need our attention most urgently. We must rekindle the light, one star, one world, one system at a time." Elara spent weeks mastering the stellar cartographer. She learned to manipulate the holographic projections with her thoughts, to sift through countless data streams, to recognize the subtle signatures of life and energy. She discovered that each beacon of light had a unique song, a particular harmonic frequency that resonated with the lumen anima. The shadow, conversely, produced a discordant, jarring noise in her mind. Through this training, Elara began to truly understand the vast capabilities of the lumen anima. It wasn't just a map. It was a cosmic communicator, a temporal observer, a subtle manipulator of energy fields. It could project her consciousness across impossible distances, allowing her to visit distant worlds, to perceive their life forms, to understand their struggles and their joys. She saw alien flora that glowed with bioluminescence, creatures that swam through nebulae, and sentient beings made of pure light. With each new insight, Alara felt her own essence intertwining more deeply with the lumen anima toy. She felt less like an observer and more like a participant. Her dreams became vivid voyages through the cosmos, her waking thoughts filled with echoes of distant star songs. Her understanding of herself, of her place in the universe, expanded exponentially. She was no longer just a girl yearning for stars. She was becoming a part of them. One day, while charting a particularly aggressive tendril of shadow that was threatening a cluster of young, vibrant stars, Alara felt a profound sense of urgency from the lumen anima. It was a clear, insistent impulse, directing her attention to a specific point on the stellar cartographer. She zoomed in, her mind focusing on the designated area. It was a remote, largely unmapped region of the galaxy, far from any major trade routes or known civilizations. At its heart was a singular, brilliant blue star, surrounded by a ring of ice giants. But even from this distance, Alara could feel a powerful discord emanating from it. The blue star's light, though outwardly bright, felt strained, almost artificial. "This is the source," Lyra's voice was grave, appearing beside her. "The heart of the encroaching darkness, not a simple point of entropy, but an active corruption. We call it the Jabumral seeding." The holographic projection shifted, revealing a faint, almost invisible anomaly near the blue star. It was a shimmering distortion in space, a void that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. "The umbral seed," Lyra explained, "is a construct of pure anti-harmony, designed to unravel the fabric of cosmic balance. It feeds on the light, twisting its essence, turning creation into decay. It is growing, Alara, and if it reaches maturity, it will consume entire sectors of the galaxy." Alara stared at the flickering anomaly, a cold dread settling in her stomach. This was more than just a dimming light, it was an active threat, a malevolent force. The responsibility that had felt like a distant possibility now settled heavily on her shoulders. "How do we stop it?" Alara asked, her voice barely a whisper. "The lumen anima knows the way," Lyra said, her gaze fixed on the umbral seed. "It has charted a course, a path through the cosmic currents that will lead us directly to its heart. But it is a perilous journey, Alara. One that will test your connection to the lumen anima, and to yourself, beyond anything you can imagine." Lyra turned to Alara, her eyes shining with an ancient fire. "To truly become one with its essence, Alara, is to become its vessel, its navigator, its protector. The lumen anima cannot physically traverse the stars, but through you, it can. Through you, its vast capabilities can be unleashed. Together we shall chart a course towards the light and confront the darkness at its source." The holographic galaxy pulsed, the path to the umbral seed glowing like a fiery river through the cosmic expanse. Alara looked from the threatening shadow to the vibrant beacons of light, then back to Lyra's unwavering gaze. She felt a tremor of fear, but beneath it, a surge of fierce determination. The stars were no longer just distant dreams. They were her destiny, her responsibility. And the grand adventure was only just beginning. Alara took a deep breath, the scent of ozone from the holographic projector, a strange comfort. "What do we do, Lyra?" Lyra's smile was gentle, reassuring. "We prepare, little starseed. And then we journey." The preparation was unlike anything Alara had ever imagined. Lyra led her deeper into the observatory's hidden levels, where the sleek, crystalline form of a starship rested. It was named the Lumen, a vessel designed not for war, but for exploration and gentle intervention. Inside, Lyra showed Alara the navigation console, a shimmering interface that responded to thought and touch, and the energy conduits that hummed with captured starlight. Alara learned about the light not just as a visual phenomenon, but as a fundamental cosmic energy, a symphony of creation, connection, and balance that flowed through every star, every planet, every living thing. The umbral seed, Lyra explained, was a place where this symphony was being muffled, its harmonious flow disrupted, threatening to silence the music of the galaxy. "It's like a whisper of discord in a grand orchestra," Lyra said, her fingers dancing over a holographic star chart. "If allowed to grow, it could consume the melodies of entire systems." Their journey began under the silent gaze of 1,000 distant suns. The Illumin slipped through the hyperspace lanes like a silver fish through an ethereal ocean, the star streaks outside blurring into a tunnel of pure light. Elara, strapped into a comfortable chair beside Lyra, watched, mesmerized. Lyra, ever patient, taught her to read the energy fluctuations on the console, to feel the subtle shifts in the stellar currents. They passed through the shimmering veils of the Celestial Spire Nebula, a cosmic cloud of gas and dust painted in hues of amethyst and emerald, where newborn stars twinkled like scattered diamonds. Elara saw colossal space whales, their bioluminescent bodies the size of small moons, reaching through the nebular currents, singing ancient songs that reverberated through the Gilumen's hull. She saw the crystalline cities of the Silos, fragile structures built on asteroid clusters, powered by captured comet tails, their inhabitants graceful beings of pure light and sound. Each encounter filled Elara with a deeper sense of wonder, a growing understanding of the vast, intricate tapestry of life woven across the cosmos. But with wonder came the creeping shadow of the umbral seed. As they ventured deeper, the vibrant colors of the galaxy began to subtly dim. Stars that should have blazed with fierce brilliance now seemed a little muted, their light tinged with a faint, almost imperceptible gray. Elara felt it too, a subtle chill that settled deep in her bones, a whisper of unease that grew louder with every parsec they traversed. One evening, as the Illumin drifted silently between two silent ancient systems, Elara found herself staring at the star chart, the path to the umbral seed, a stark crimson line. "Lyra," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "What if I can't do it? What if the darkness is too strong?" Lyra turned from the navigation controls, her eyes soft with understanding. "Elara, the light isn't about brute force. It's about harmony, about balance. The umbral seed isn't an enemy to be defeated, but a wound to be healed. And you, little starseed, carry a piece of that healing light within you. It's why you felt the tremor, why you saw the path. You are attuned to the cosmic symphony." She placed a gentle hand on Elara's shoulder. "Fear is natural, Elara. But courage isn't the absence of fear. It's moving forward despite it. You are not alone. We face this together." Her words were a balm, rekindling the spark of determination in Elara's heart. She nodded, a renewed sense of purpose settling over her. Days turned into weeks, and the Illumin finally reached the outer fringes of the umbral veil. Here, the stars were barely pinpricks in the crushing blackness. The cosmic dust, usually sparkling with reflected starlight, seemed to absorb all illumination. The very fabric of space felt heavy, oppressive, as if the universe itself was holding its breath. The Illumin's external sensors registered unusual energy readings, a slow, rhythmic pulse, like a dying heart, drawing in all ambient light and warmth. "This is it," Lyra murmured, her voice hushed. "The source of the discord." The umbral seed itself was not a planet or a star, but a colossal structure, ancient beyond comprehension, floating in the void. It resembled an immense petrified bloom, its jagged obsidian petals folded inward, creating a vortex that silently siphoned light from the surrounding space. There were no flashing lights, no roaring engines, just a profound, unsettling silence, a gaping maw of cosmic hunger. As they approached, a wave of profound sadness washed over Elara, a feeling so intense it brought tears to her eyes. It wasn't menacing, not evil, but an overwhelming sense of loss, of forgotten purpose. "It's crying," Elara whispered, the words catching in her throat. Lyra nodded slowly. "It is. This structure, the seed, was once a nexus of creation, a place where new stars were nurtured. But something went wrong, long ago. It lost its way, forgotten its purpose, and began to draw in energy indiscriminately, like a child crying out for comfort it no longer remembers how to receive." "How do we help it?" Elara asked, her heart aching with empathy. Lyra turned to her, a knowing look in her eyes. "The light, Elara, not as a weapon, but as a song. A memory of its true purpose. You possess the purest resonance, the clearest echo of the cosmic harmony. You must sing its forgotten song back to it." Elara felt a fresh wave of fear, but the sadness emanating from the seed propelled her forward. She couldn't leave it like this. Lyra guided the Illumin into a vast silent chamber within the outer petals of the seed. The air inside was thick with the oppressive stillness, the walls a dull, light-absorbing obsidian. In the center of the chamber, a colossal, crystalline heart pulsed weakly, its light barely visible. This was the true core, the seed of its forgotten purpose. Place your hands on the console. Elara, Lyra instructed, her voice calm and steady. Let your heart guide you. Feel the light within you, the memory of all the beauty we've witnessed. Project that feeling, that harmony, towards the core. Taking a shaky breath, Elara placed her small hands on the cool, smooth surface of the console. She closed her eyes, and images flooded her mind. The iridescent wings of the space whales, the twinkling cities of the Xylos, the vibrant hues of the nebula, the warmth of the sun on her face back home, the gentle glow of the holographic galaxy. She felt the warmth of Lyra's hand on her shoulder, a silent anchor. She didn't sing with her voice, but with her whole being. She projected every ounce of wonder, every spark of joy, every memory of vibrant life and light she had collected on their journey. She focused on the feeling of connection, of belonging, of the universal dance of creation. At first, nothing happened. The oppressive silence remained. Doubt flickered. But then, a faint, almost imperceptible hum resonated through the chamber. The crystalline heart in the center began to pulse, a tiny, almost invisible flicker of light within its depths. Encouraged, Elara poured more of herself into it. She imagined the cosmic symphony, a grand, harmonious chorus of stars and planets, of life and energy, swirling around the seed, enveloping it in warmth and understanding. She willed it to remember, to awaken. And slowly, miraculously, the umbral seed began to respond. The obsidian walls around them shimmered, then softened, revealing veins of deep violet and shimmering blue beneath the surface. The oppressive stillness began to lift, replaced by a gentle, soothing hum that resonated deep within Elara's chest. The colossal crystalline heart in the center of the chamber pulsed stronger, growing brighter, throwing off a soft restorative light. The sadness receded, replaced by a feeling of profound relief, like a long-held breath finally released. The umbral seed was not consuming anymore. It was receiving and remembering. Its petals, once folded in on themselves, began to slowly unfurl, revealing intricate patterns of starlight within their folds. It was no longer a maw of hunger, but a beacon of gentle renewal, ready to nurture new light rather than absorb it. Lyra smiled, a radiant, triumphant smile. You did it, Elara. You sang its song back to it. The journey home was different. The stars, once muted, now blazed with renewed vigor, their colors more brilliant than before. The cosmic currents felt lighter, the symphony of the universe clearer and more joyful. Elara looked out at the vibrant tapestry of the galaxy, no longer just a spectator, but an active participant in its grand, unfolding story. She had faced her fear, found courage, and brought healing to a forgotten corner of the cosmos. Back in her observatory, the holographic galaxy pulsed with renewed brilliance. The path to the umbral seed, once a fiery river of threat, now glowed with a soft, steady warmth, a testament to balance restored. Elara looked at the stars, no longer just distant dreams, but cherished friends, a vast, interconnected family she was now a part of. Lyra tucked her into bed, her eyes twinkling like the distant nebulae. Rest now, little starseed. You have brought a new light to the cosmos. As Elara closed her eyes, she felt the gentle hum of the universe within her, a quiet, comforting melody. She remembered the vastness, the beauty, the sadness, and the joy. She remembered the courage she found, the purpose she embraced. And as sleep claimed her, she knew that the stars would always be there, waiting, shining brightly. A reminder of the infinite wonder that lay just beyond the horizon, and the extraordinary power that pulsed within her own beating heart. She was a guardian of the light, a singer of the cosmic symphony, and her grand adventure had truly just begun, even in her dreams.